Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting. Alright, welcome back. Once again, we're at the Georgia Gun Club's 100-yard indoor rifle range, and today I'm shooting my Tikka T3X mounted in an MDT Oryx chassis chambered in 223 Remington with an Arkin SH4 60-24x50 rifle scope. And today we're continuing our test with the 60 grain VMAX and various powders, and today we're shooting the CFE223. This has been a pretty good powder for me in the past, and today we'll be shooting charge weights from 25.5 to 26.7 grains of powder. We'll be shooting 5 fouling shots at that first charge weight, and then we'll be shooting 5 5-shot groups in 0.3 of a grain increments, going from 25.5 to 25.8 to 26.1 to 26.4 to 26.7. So we'll send these down. We'll record these with the Garmin Zero C1 Pro chronograph, and we'll see how these perform. All right. So as always, you're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting, or you can skip forward to the results that follow. Shooting at 100 yards. Something's going on with my rifle. After firing a shot, I have an extremely hard bolt lift and it feels gritty. I can close the bolt back after that shot, lift it again, and it's okay. But when I try to lift it that first time after firing a shot, it's very tight, very hard, and somewhat gritty. So I've got to look into that and find out what's going on with that. But let's take a look at these targets. All right, so nothing terribly impressive here. We did have 3 shots on this last group, but it just got to be such a booger trying to lift that bolt. I just kind of gave up on this. So I don't think any of these are terribly impressive, but we will take these home. We'll probably just measure these with a caliper just for the extreme spread, because I don't think any one of them has a fantastic mean radius. So anyway, hang tight, and I'll get back to you with the results on this shortly. I'm back from the range, but while I was there, I had this problem. As I was cycling through my rounds, shooting my targets, the bolt lift became increasingly more and more difficult. Each time that I would lift the bolt, it would become a little bit harder. This started probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I didn't think much about it at the time. I just added a little bit of grease to the bolt. But today it got so difficult I could hardly open that bolt at all. And so I ended my shooting earlier. I didn't finish this last target on this particular group. I don't know that the bolt lift had an impact on my shooting for this particular target. But anyway, I'm kind of sad because I'm going to have to send this rifle back to the manufacturer. It looks like there's something going on with the bolt here. Here's a photograph of a close-up of that bolt, and it looks like some metal is either shearing off of the chamber and onto the bolt and building up here, or maybe the bolt is disintegrating. I'm not sure, but either way, after firing a shot, it's extremely hard to lift the bolt. I can close it back and lift it easily after that, but it's very hard to lift after firing a shot. So I'm going to be without the Tikka for a few weeks while I send this back to the manufacturer and figure out what's going on here. And so in the meantime, I'll be switching back to either my Ruger American or my Sako 6.5 Creedmoor, or possibly my Ruger AR-556. But in any event, I'm going to continue making videos until I can get that Tikka back. But in the meantime, here are the results of that group that I did shoot. All of these were completely unimpressive. I had charge weights from 25.5 to 26.7 grains of CFE223. We had group sizes of 1.26, 106, 102, 0.98, 0.94, and on the last group we only shot 3 shots because of the hard bolt lifts, and so I just stopped shooting at that point. But I did have a group of 0.55 there. All of these are very unimpressive. This is shooting at 0.3 of a grain increments, working from 25.5 up to the maximum charge weight of 26.7 for this particular load. But I think possibly there may be some charge weights on the lower end, on the lower velocities here, where these might work. But at the higher charge weights, I'm just going to have to say that this bullet and powder combination does not work. All right, those are my results. I hope you find this information helpful. If you have any ideas, thoughts, questions, please leave those in the comments below. I try to interact with everybody that comments. I hope you will also like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.